Hi, my name is Alaazar Musie, and this is my vlog on ethical violations and board discipline. And so I wanted to begin with what I read in an article called Licensure Board Actions Against Professional Counselors. The author is C. Emmanuel Ahai and Peter J. Bacone address violations that occur across the U.S. and the disciplinary actions that followed. They state that out of the 30 types of violations, dual relationships were the most common violation, followed by unprofessional conduct, then professional misrepresentation, and then finally being convicted of a non-counseling related crime. Now, while I'm from Texas, Texas does not offer cases or disciplinary actions on their website, and so, or anywhere. You'd have to request it, and I think it'd be based on need. And so I turned to a state our state next to us, which is Louisiana. So going through their website, through the Louisiana Licensed Professional Counselors Board of Examiners website, I looked at their the most common cases that I saw there. A lot of them, there was a few that were dual relationships, not as many as I was expecting. I found a lot more counselors that were being disciplined for one was, most of them were for not being licensed while practicing. So I think they didn't renew their licensure on time. They didn't pay certain things, or didn't do certain things and get their licensure, and they continued to practice, and so they were penalized for that. There was many actually, a lot more that I was surprised by, that were abusing drugs or alcohol, and were impaired and still practicing, and then were caught. And so those are the most common that I found. And the themes that I'm seeing here is impairment. Like, genuinely, like, I see that a lot of the reasons why some of these counselors are, just missing the mark is because I feel like a lot of it is just not being aware of self and not taking care of self. And so, and that was probably the most common for me. I chose one of the cases, and the practiced the individual. So the behavior that led to the discipline was that the individual practiced mental health counseling without a license from 2014 to 2015, and again from 2017 to 2018. And this was 2020 when they brought this up. And so I think they caught her, and so she broke about 6 state codes, Louisiana state codes, and then 3 of the ACA codes. The 3 that I can refer to are the C2C, qualified for employment, C4A, accurate representation, and she wasn't practicing accurately representing herself, and then C4B, was practicing without credentials. And so what was the outcome of the board discipline? First, she was reprimanded. Her license was revoked. She had to, for a time being, she has to obtain 3 continuing education hours in ethics approved by the NBCC, the ACA, or the LCA, which is Louisiana, by a certain date, which is 2021, before she can renew her license to practice again. She also has to pay a legal cost of $1,200, and then pay a fine of $500 within, I think, a span of 2 years. And then she'll be on probation until she has it taken care of, and until they can verify that she has learned her lesson, I guess. And so, what does the ACA Code of Ethics and my state code say about counselor impairment? Well, the ACA has the code C2G that states that counselors need to observe themselves for signs of impairment and refrain from practice when impaired, and must seek guidance and support until they are healthy and are able to properly resume practice. And then the Texas Administrative Code, since I'm from Texas, Rule 681, Section 41 Subsection DD states a license must not provide service. A licensee must not provide services while impaired by a physical, mental, or medical condition, or by medication, drugs, or alcohol. And I believe impairment falls under mental impairment. And so, or I guess any of these technically. And so, some things that come to my mind is the biggest thing that comes to my mind is, well, it's not a question, but it is kind of a question. But what is it? What ethical dilemmas that am I going to face while in practice, and will I be able to identify those things in myself and then take the proper steps? And I believe I would. Having been in ministry for a few years, I've prior, right now, I'm not in ministry, but when I was, I was able to evaluate, take times away, and pass on the responsibilities to others until I knew that I was in the right place to continue leading. I was very open and honest with my supervisors, which was the head pastor and the associate pastor, and so I believe I would still carry myself in that way. But I wonder what ethical dilemmas I will be facing that will potentially lead me to a violation, and what decisions I will make. And so hopefully I'll make wise spiritual decisions. And so thank you for watching my video, and I hope you have a wonderful day.